Good morning. 9 o'clock, we'll call the December 16th meeting of the Berry County Board of Commissioners to order. If you'll all stand for a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to suggest that this morning, as we approach the end of the year and this glorious holiday season, that we take a couple of moments of silence to reflect on all the good things that have happened in Berry County, all the great things that we as individuals enjoy, and that we also look ahead to the challenges that will be in front of us for next year. So take a moment, please. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Bassett?
Here.
Halton?
Here.
Campa?
Here.
Getty?
Here.
Hatfield?
Here.
Smelter?
Here.
Tennyson?
Here.
And Jackson Dawson.
Thank you. We have a quorum present. Reports from state and county officials. Do we have any state or county officials that would like to report to us? Seeing none, we'll move ahead to limited public comment for items that are on the agenda, limit of 3 minutes per person.
Good morning, Gary White. Items for consideration, number 5, surplus funds. When I looked at that, I didn't see nothing in there for the jail. I guess I'm surprised. If that's your number one concern for the county, there was nothing in the jail fund in the 2025 budget, nothing in the jail fund of 2026 budget. And now the surplus funds, there's nothing going in from the surplus funds into the jail fund. Is that really your number one project? It really concerns me. And I'm not sure why it would not be your number one, at least 50%, if not all of it, going in there to fund the jail. It's been not funded except for a couple. Let's move ARPA. And I think there was 2 other moves that went there, but nothing out of the real budget. So if you're really looking at a jail, it seems like you would start funding it starting with today. It surprised me on, Tuesday on the jail that Mike Colton said he was pissed about the consultant. On Tuesday, I thought it was Thursday at Village Council, Nashville. On Tuesday, he said, well, the county administrator wanted this consultant, and that he brought no proposals except for from this one consultant. Well, you guys are the ones that have oversight over the county administrator, so you should be looking at why the jail is not in the surplus funds today. Also should be looking at, if you didn't like the idea of not having more than one bid for a consultant, why you didn't say, hey, hold on, here we need more than one.
That's not an agenda item, so if you'll confine your comments, please.
Well, the surplus funds is the agenda item. Okay. So the surplus funds needs to be funded, the jail needs to be funded out of these surplus funds. You at least need to have discussion on that. So we're going to see if you have oversight over the county administrator, or if you just are following what you're told to by the county administrator. This is your opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of the written agenda. I will note that the sheriff will not be able to be with us today, so he will not be giving his report as listed under presentations. Anyone else want to make a change to the agenda?
Will he be presenting in January, just in another date?
Another day,
Okay,
yes.
thanks.
Anyone want to change the agenda further? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the agenda as modified?
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Anyone have correspondence that they would like to share with the board? We did receive a copy of a resolution from Castleton Township opposing the use of county funds for support of any lawsuits other than those that directly involve us. Retain that for information item. Any other correspondence? Hearing none. Commissioner Smelker, consent items.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of December 9th, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting minutes.
Moved and supported.
Yeah.
Tennyson. Discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, we call the roll, please.
Bassett?
Aye.
Carlton?
Aye.
Campbell?
Aye.
Getty?
Aye.
Hatfield?
Aye.
Smelter?
Aye.
Tunison?
Aye.
And Jackson's absent.
The motion is approved. Presentations. Morgan. Want to hear what's going on at the animal shelter?
Good morning. So this year's been a crazy year with the dogs. We've been completely full all year. We've had probably between 20 and 27 dogs throughout the year in our kennels consistently. With our intakes of the year compared to last year, we had 243 last year. We are at 163. And that's due to adoptions being low on the dogs, and we're consistently full. And so we've been trying to change our advertising on Facebook, trying to get the word out there that we have a lot of dogs to adopt. With cats, we have been doing about the same with adoptions and intakes as last year. We've had 295 cats come in last year, and this year we're at 297. And we keep about 20 cats in the shelter all the time, so if one gets adopted, we get more in right away. Same with dogs. And last year we adopted about 110 dogs. This year we're at 77. Last year with cats, we adopted 125, and this year we're at 125 right now too. We have a couple rescues that we transfer to each year. Last year, we were able to transfer 2 dogs out. This year, we're at 4 dogs. We transferred to Mackenzie's Animal Sanctuary in Lake Odessa, and then we started transferring to Possibilities in Olivet when they can take some in too. We have returned 17 dogs this year to their owners, and last year we've returned 26 dogs. Normally on cats, they don't get reclaimed, so we end up adopting them out. Most of the cats we get in are just stray cats that just wander around that don't really have a home, or kittens. This year on the dog license revenue, we're at 18,000, almost to 19. Last year we did 21,000. In our trap, neuter, and release program, we're about halfway through the grant that we are doing right now. We have done 138 cats so far this year. And then we should finish the grant up hopefully at the end of January, but we can go through February if needed to with the grant. And with this next year, I plan on to create an adoption application, so each people, like anyone that wanted to come in to adopt, we'd have them fill out an application beforehand, kind of to know what they have at home, like dogs, cats, so we can help place a dog properly to that home, because we have a lot of dogs that don't get along with other dogs or cats. And then I'm working on creating a foster program so we can get more dogs into the shelter and have some dogs on foster with people in the community to help try to find dogs home faster. And then the last page on the slideshow are some of our adoptable pets, if anyone is interested in adopting. Any questions?
Mike? Thank you. Can you go over, I was having this discussion with someone with adoption and the process of scaling aggressiveness, say of dogs, ones that are more user-friendly, like you just mentioned, a dog that doesn't get along with other animals.
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of dogs don't get along with cats if they're not socialized at a young age. That's one of the biggest problems we have. Occasionally you have dogs that don't get along with other dogs, but for the most part, dogs don't get along with cats unless they're socialized to it. Some of them are totally fine with them. But so when you go to place a dog, if they have a cat, it's really hard to place a dog if they don't like cats. If that home has a cat. So we try to make sure we place the right dog because we don't want that cat injured or anything.
Okay, but thank you for that, but now relationship to people, is there a way of grading aggressiveness of a dog? Who's going to be more user-friendly, safer for children, different dogs, do they do anything like that?
Yeah, yep. So, I mean, if the dog's cat aggressive, it's not necessarily, like, they're a safe dog, but when there's a cat around, that's when they are aggressive. I don't know if that helps answer that.
With people,
Yeah.
forget the cats. Aggressive with people, I mean, I'm sure all dogs are not the same. I know, you get some dogs that might have a tendency to bite people or anything like that. Is there a way to, I thought that they would somehow assess that. They don't assess that?
Yeah, so if a dog bites a person, I mean, that's, in my opinion, not an adoptable dog. Most of the time, it's not our fault, but sometimes it is our fault. If the dog is aggressive towards humans, we don't adopt it out. Because that's, if we were to adopt it to your family and you have grandkids or something come over, that's not safe, and that's not something that I think should be adopted out to a family, if that helps.
So then what do you do with a dog like that?
So if it's a bite case that comes in through law enforcement, most of the time it's euthanized, because it's already a bite case, it bit someone before it came to us, and we're just holding it for quarantine, and then that owner elects to get it euthanized. Most of the time, that's how the bite, like, aggressive dogs come in. Sometimes we get them in that were strays and they're aggressive, and if they bite or act super aggressive where you can't handle them, then we are to euthanize them.
Thank you.
Mr. Strigetti?
So there were quite a few, fewer adoptions in 25.
Yep.
Do you see any trends in why that would be the case?
For dogs, I think a lot of people are unable to afford them right now. I think dog food has gone up, your vet cost has gone up, people are struggling in general. I think that that's part of our trend with that, is that people just can't afford them.
Do you see pets surrendered because owners can't afford to take care of them?
Yes, we don't take in a ton of surrenders right now because we're getting so many strays, but I do find that that's a lot of people that are needing help, and a lot of times if they can't afford food, we have the food pantry that we help supply them with food.
As a pet owner, that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
what's the cost affiliation with adopting? Is there, there's the cost?
Yep. Yeah, so for adult dogs, it's $90 for the adoption. For puppies, it's a $45 adoption fee plus a $75 refundable fee, saying that they'll get the dog spayed or neutered. Once they get the dog spayed or neutered, they'll bring in the paperwork and we refund them the $75. And then if they're old enough for a rabies vaccine, they're required to get a dog license through the county. And for cats, it's $70 for adult cats, and it's a $35 adoption fee for kittens, plus the $75 that you get back once you spay or neuter them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Tennyson?
Morgan, are breeders still a problem? I know at one time, it seemed like breeders, they were so many of them out there, and unwanted ones that weren't being bought.
Yeah.
What were they doing with them, right?
Right. And I think breeding will always be a problem. We get a lot of pit bulls in, and I think people are overbreeding pit bulls, because the majority of our shelter is full of pit bull mixes. And recently, we've had like a couple puppies come in. Granted, I don't know where they came from.
Right.
If it was from a poor breeding, or they got found at a home and that person brought it in because they decided it was too much. But breeding 100% is a big problem, whether it's dogs or cats.
Well, you did mention strays. I'm just curious where the strays are coming from, that's all. Do you have any inkling on that?
I honestly think people are dumping them, and then with Eaton County not taking in a lot of dogs, I think people dump them across county lines or come in and say they found it as a stray and it's really not a stray. Unfortunately, that happens, and it sucks.
Yeah, that's heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
They're just dumping dogs off
Yeah.
out in the middle of the cold and everything else.
Yeah, we recently got a black lab puppy in that was found over by Yankee Springs, and the person said she found it on the side of the road. The puppy was cold, tired looking. She pulled through, and she's doing great, and she's since adopted, but that's one that I think was just dumped off.
Well, thanks for how much you care about animals down there.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Yes. Other questions? Well, Morgan, thank you very much, and thank you for all that you do down there for the county and for the
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good holiday.
Thank you. All right, public hearings, we have none, so we'll move on to items for consideration. First item is request to approve authorizing the county administrator to approve claims on December 30th, 2025, amount to be determined.
So moved.
Support?
We have a motion and support. Do we have for any discussion? I know that some of you don't like approving resolutions allocating dollars without knowing what the sums are, but I also assume that you don't want to be here at midnight on December 31st to approve that, if the auditor even had it then.
No, this is just a standard resolution that you pass every year, since we don't have the fourth meeting of the month.
Yep. Okay, we have a motion and support. Roll call, please.
Carlton.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Getty.
Aye.
Smelter.
Aye.
Jimison.
Aye.
Bassett.
Aye.
And Hatfield.
Aye.
Jackson's absent.
Item number 2 is a request to approve the attached contract with Barry Eaton Health Department that will provide additional support to minimize the impact of fee increases to Barry County residences and businesses.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With me is Rebecca Condon, who's the health officer for the health department. One of the items in the budget that we talked about for 26 was the amount that we cut from the health department budget, and that we were going to hold that in contingency in case there were issues down the road that we could use to help out Barry County residents and businesses. Well, we have one of those instances. One of the, and I will let Rebecca talk more about it, but really what this process does is it allows us to limit the amount of fee increases our residents are paying. As the health department, they have to have a unified structure. So we can't have a Barry County fee and an Eaton County fee. There's a health department fee. What this mechanism allows us to do is to minimize that disruption to our residents and businesses by using some of the contingency dollars. So, Rebecca, I don't know if you want to talk about where you're at right now with process and the fee situation.
I'm happy to take questions from all of you. The process at this point is is in place and ready to go. You have the contract in your packet, as I understand it. And in terms of legal, legal has cleared both Berry County and the Health Department's legal has cleared the contract. Eric and I have had some meetings, and I think we have a good process in place to minimize disruption for both agencies.
I think the key is they have a fee increase, additional fee increase going in January 1. If we don't do anything, our residents will have an additional 30% fee increase. So what this does is allows us to take that share. Rebecca went through historically and looked at it. We're estimating it's $19,000 for the first quarter. We'll draw that down as permits are used. And if we don't use it, great. It'll be there for the next quarter. If we go through it, they'll send us a notice that, hey, we went through it, we need the next quarter. Or probably, it's probably gonna be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
We'll probably have some, and then we'll have to replenish as needed. So we're gonna be way below what the budget is, way below what we cut. I think if you take the 19,000, annualize it at 76,000 a year, we cut over $250,000. So I think this is the purpose of what we did with the budget. It's what you wanted to do to protect the residents the best that we can at this time. So, and I know Commissioners Tunis and Campbell and Getty have acutely aware of this. I know I've talked to Commissioner Getty on this a few times since Rebecca and I met. But happy to answer any of the questions you may have.
Commissioner Tunison?
No, I think the three of us, Bruce, Catherine, and I felt strongly that Berry County residents shouldn't have to suffer for the fact that Eaton County is in financial problems. We felt that we had the ability to try to help our residents, not have this big fee increase. And I'm glad that we talked to Eric. He ran it through legal, and if everybody feels the same way as we do, we're helping out people in Berry County with the ability to do that. So
I would like to thank Rebecca on this. There was an initial idea of how this plan could work that was very convoluted, and I think would have been a pain for everybody, not just us, not the resident, the health department. I think her creativity in looking at this and looking at the interest of our residents as well, I think really let this come together. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I think the sentiment was there from the three of us that we wanted to mitigate the impact on our residents. But we aren't health officers or familiar with the financing, so I think it was, it is really appreciated to have her expertise to tease that out and find a solution. And we'll continue to do that because we don't want the impact from Eaton County to trickle down to our residents. So we'll continue to look at innovative solutions, right?
Always.
Commissioner Colton?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I don't understand the mechanics of this. So let's say I'm a restaurant and I get an inspection fee, or let's say I'm getting a well, got to get, a well fee. Okay, so how then, am I initially charged with the whole taco that they're going to pay in Eaton County and something kicks in? I don't understand it.
So what I would say is, right now, there's a fee for that service. There was a fee increase on October 1. That fee is going to be paid by everybody. On January 1, there's an additional fee increase going in, and what the health board did was give us time to formulate this plan. So I'm going to use really simple math, because I'm not saying these are the fees, but this is easy for me to do. So let's say your well fee is $200 right now. January 1, let's say it goes to $300. So that $300 would be normally is what Eaton County residents and everybody would be charged. However, what we're going to do is say, Mr. Colton, here's your $200 bill. They're going to knock $100 off of our tab, basically. And just say, okay, the health department's getting $300 for the fee, as they would everywhere. In this instance, $200 is coming from you, $100 is coming from us.
But to answer your question about the mechanics of the customer service side of it, the resident won't see that back end transaction. So everything will happen in-house. The resident will come in and pay the fee, and then we will take care of the 30% that.
Does the resident see the $300 bill or the $200 he's got to pay?
The $200 in this case.
Yeah,
Okay.
For Berry County folks.
So there'll be a different schedule.
there will be, yes,
But the Eaton County resident's gonna pay $300.
correct,
Ours is only gonna pay $200.
correct.
It's still the same fee, it's just a mechanism how the health department's being paid for the fee.
Right, okay, I see. I do think it's outrageous that their prices are jumping that much in 1 year.
Yeah, we're working right now on doing some time studies and some studies around the state to look at our fee schedule. We are historically low, so we would like to level set that. So going forward, we shouldn't see these huge jumps.
And I would say, not saying the health department, but historically, sometimes governments have done a horrible job of keeping up with their fees.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to be the person who raises a fee.
Right.
However, fees, by some decisions back, there's a decision called Bolt, that you have to charge your costs for fees. So if we're taking general fund dollars and subsidizing that basically, that's okay, you can do that. You're basically saying, hey, we're not charging the full cost of everything. However, if you say, hey, the cost of the permit's $300, but I'm charging $500, that's where you get in trouble. That we can't do. But you can always subsidize, and that's what historically governments have done, is subsidize fees, the cost of service, saying, well, we get enough in taxes to do that, or it's that extra level of service, this is something out of the ordinary. So, not atypical, like. And then when it gets to the point where general fund budgets get cut, that's when people start looking at fees and saying, all right, how do we keep maintaining this level of service? It's never fun, but it's not atypical.
Right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Smoker?
Hi, welcome aboard, Rebecca.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure if this is towards Rebecca or the Health Board, but could we get a comparison of surrounding counties on what their permit fees are and what ours are?
She's doing that.
Yeah, we're doing that right now. So as soon as I have some data ready for you, I'd be happy to come back and present.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Bassett, did you?
I got my question answered. Thank you
All
very
right.
much, and welcome.
Thank you.
And I would say that just, remember, we use that as kind of a guide, but fees will differ by entity based on their costs. So we like to say, hey, we're close to them, or close to this county. However, every county has truly different cost structure. So that's where your fee structure should be based on. Obviously, we know appearances and all those things, but just be aware that you have to know all the ins and outs to understand how they and why they charge what they charge.
Sure. To be clear, we'll use comparable counties, not counties like Kent or Detroit with huge populations and much bigger fees. So we'll use comparable counties to us when I come back for you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Oh, sorry.
Just a couple comments. One thing I'd like to see in the future is that some way there becomes a dividing line between yearly annual increases versus a one-time fee on a well. A one-time fee on the well, although it's difficult, it's a one-time thing. If you're in charge of a nonprofit organization and your rates go up $300 and it's every year, it's a different situation. So I hope we can address that in the future. And the other thing I want to make sure that people understand is that funding required, yes, that always looks like, oh, we're going to approve an additional $76,000. In reality, the money's already there. It's already been earmarked to go to the health department. I just want to make sure people understand that that's where that money's coming from, is money that's already been allotted to that, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that is why we reserve that in the budget.
Thank you.
And if I could just address the framework question that you had. There historically is not a framework that we can draw from for EH fees. I don't know historically when they were set, why they were set, and why we do increases. So part of this time study and comparison is to create the framework so that as inflation increases, as cost of livings change, we can come to the Board of Health and say, this is the actual cost that we're paying today, and we can build on that year by year, again, so that we don't see these 20, 50% increases in the future.
Understand, let's let go too long.
Yeah, happens, yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you. So the request is to approve the attached contract with Barry Eaton Health Department to provide additional support to minimize the fee increases to Barry County residences and businesses.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Further discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Campbell.
Aye.
Getty.
Aye.
Smoker.
Aye.
Tennyson.
Aye.
Jackson's absent. Bassett.
Aye.
Carlton.
Aye.
And Hatfield.
Aye. All right, item number 3 is a request to approve the attached pay scale for 2026 for general fund department heads and non-represented employees in positions that are subject to the grade and step pay scale with a 3% wage increase effective 1/1/26. Eric?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In your packet, you have the scale, the positions. This is the first year since I've been on board, and I think the first year probably in 5 years that you've really had to look at setting the scale. Typically, with the union contracts that are in place, whatever those percentages are approved in the contract, that's carried over to the non-union staff. And those scales then are set at the beginning of each 3, 4, 5-year period. As you are all aware, we're still in the middle of negotiations, so we don't have scales. So within the budget, we recommended, we budgeted a 3% increase. So what you have in front of you is a recommendation to approve that for the non-union department heads and non-represented employees. And if, for example, union contracts end up at a higher amount, you'll probably see a request down the road to match that for the non-union staff. But that's still, like I said, in process. We'll see where it goes.
Questions for Eric? If not, the request is to approve the attached pay scale for 2026 for the general fund department heads and non-represented employees in positions that are subject to the grade and step pay scale with a 3% wage increase effective 1/1/26.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Getty.
Aye.
Smoker.
Aye.
Tennyson.
Aye.
Jackson's absent. Bassett.
Aye.
Carlton.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
And Hatfield.
Aye. Thank you very much. Passes. Item number 4, adoption of Resolution 25-33 to authorize the auditor to make final year-end transfers. Eric?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is another standard year-end resolution that just allows post this meeting to us to make final transfers as necessary to balance out funds. You approve this resolution every year. This is something we work with Dave DeHaan to complete and our auditors from Gaybridge. We try to have it all done before Gaybridge comes in, but every now and then there's something that does pop up. But I know Jeff will be working with Mr. DeHaan and Kelly and other department heads to make sure that we're good to go.
Commissioner Bassett?
If I may ask a question, do we get reported on, in our January meeting of what took place at the end of the year?
Yeah, we are looking at how we're reporting things financially. You'll see amended budgets, you'll see a year, and there's a period 13 that we make adjustments in. But yes, that is something we will definitely be reporting back on. And sometimes it takes even into February.
Oh, yeah.
As audit adjustments are made.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Other questions? All right, the request again is to adopt Resolution 25-33 to authorize the auditor to make final year-end transfers. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
I'll make that motion.
That's a good idea, thank you. You got the
Motion support by Tunis and Camp.
Okay, thank you. So I'll also ask for discussion. That's what happens when you get a sub up here, yeah. Discussion? All right, now, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Smoker.
Aye.
Judison.
Aye.
Jackson's absent. Bassett.
Aye.
Carlton. Campbell.
Aye.
Getty.
Aye.
And Hatfield.
Aye. All right, item number 5, request to adopt Resolution 25-34 to authorize the auditor to transfer 2025 general fund surplus funds to various internal service funds.
Historically, pardon me, historically, you passed this resolutions with various percentages established to the four internal service funds. Last year, if you recall, we made a large payment into we're used to say data processing, so the IT fund, because we knew we had some major projects coming up. Our ERP software, all those type of things. As you can remember the budget, we had a huge number in IT for the coming year. This year, we were looking at it, and again, we see the direction that IT is going. As you know, it's the basis of everything we do. So that's going to be in the way that the licensing that we're seeing is changing, we're going to have to continue to invest more in that front. So we had a 35% recommended into that. As you are aware, we have many buildings that they're older, they're in great shape, but we still need to invest in them. So we're recommending 35% into the building rehab fund, the 10% into the capital replacement fund, that's for other equipment across the county, and then 20% into the vehicle fund. Those last two funds took a really small amount last year. I think they were 10%. And we know with the vehicle needs, not only of the sheriff's department, but other county entities, departments, we in the way that vehicle pricing's going, we need to invest in those as well. This is one of those things where we have priorities, we have to still, but we have a whole county we have to run. So when we looked at this, we have obviously one big project out there, but we have all these other things we still need to continue to fund and do, which is why when we look, our recommendation, we're addressing this major project differently, but our ongoing needs, that's why we made the recommendation we're making. The building rehab fund technically could still be used for a building project. That's what it's there for. But once again, we have multiple buildings that we have needs for. I don't have an amount of surplus yet. We're not even hazarding a guess at that. We won't know for a few more weeks. But we can report back to you on that in January as well.
And while this is an allocation, as we have opportunities to revisit the adequacy of these funds, we can make adjustments.
You know, they're not specifically reserved, they're assigned. You're just moving with a motion by resolution. So by resolution, you can probably move them back. I would say it's not a great practice to do that. But yes, I believe you have the ability. It's not something by statute you're having to reserve funds that you can't spend on something else.
Right.
Those type of things we can't move. The one thing that comes to mind is not a county issue, but say for cities, villages, the road commission, Act 51 dollars, the road gas tax dollars, those can be spent on very specific things. You can't just say, hey, I'm going to go buy a truck with it. You get in a little bit of trouble with that with the state. So this is a commission decision. Yes, I believe it could be changed if you so desired.
That was always the explanation that we had before, so I just wanted to reaffirm that, because I think as we revisit a number of our financial practices over the next year, it'll be a good opportunity to look at the various funds that are out there and,
Yeah, and I think one of the conversations that Jeff and I have had since he's come on board is, it makes me nervous to fund like our IT needs and our vehicle needs by surplus fund transfers. It just makes me nervous. We don't have a surplus one year, we still have those needs. And I know building the fund balance is typically why we do that, but once again, there has to be an ongoing structure to how we allocate those dollars on an annual basis. There are different cost allocation plans, there are different models of covering them, so we just need to have that discussion, and we'll bring you a recommendation sometime in '26. Probably most likely as part of the budget process, but we'll definitely have those conversations.
So you want to change the structure of how we fund things, huh? I mean, what do you?
I think we need,
a little bit.
Bob, I think we need to have a very clear discussion, say on IT, because it's one of the big ones we have in here. We know we have an annual cost. And right now, we have a fund balance that's been taking care of that surplus funds when that's set up, was transferred in to help build that fund balance as things came up, we can address them. However, there's no rhyme or reason how we do that. There is a sunk cost for each piece of software, each computer, everything that we can budget out on an annual basis and say, I'm going to pick on Sarah because I'm looking at her. The clerk's office, say they have 5 computers and 5 versions of this software, and we know IT costs X amount, we can divide that by the users in the county and say, okay, so the IT charge for the clerk's department is X. It's a general fund dollar. It just allows you to budget and look at what those issues are. One option. There are other possible scenarios. And once again, that's probably as far as I want to get into it today, but it's something Jeff and I are having those discussions, and we'll have those as we move forward. Just the cost certainty and letting departments know. Like right now, no one thinks about IT, except for Matt and I. We think about it, how we're going to fund it. Everyone just goes, we know, we turn on the computer, it's there, it works. Now Sarah wants new software, she thinks about it then. But normally, everyday scenario, people just don't. So.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Collin?
Thank you. Okay, so you get the surplus funds and they go into these special funds, and then they can sit in there indefinitely from year to year, any surplus they have. So with the mandate of the building rehab fund, I mean, in the name is rehab, but could it be used for new structures?
I don't see, I mean, once again, it's, you set up the fund. If you make a decision where it wants to go, yeah, I believe you have that ability. Once again, I think what concerns me is if we say, hey, we're going to put all this money in rehab, but then we're going to take everything that's in there and say, put it towards the new jail facility. Mm-hmm. Or I'm going to stop saying jail, law enforcement facility, because it's more than just a jail. You still have other needs. You still have courts of law where we have, it's coming near the end of life for a lot of the heat pumps. Those are $20,000 a pop. So we're replacing 4 of those a year right now. Mm-hmm. So $80,000 a year, that's going to come from somewhere. You have a 100-plus-year-old building here. While it's in good shape because we invested in it and we take care of it as things pop up. Trust me, there are issues here. I know that all of you are aware there was this, an incident with security recently with an individual who wasn't very happy. Well, there are security needs that are ongoing and will be higher level discussions in the new year. So once again, to take every dollar and say, hey, we have to put it towards the law enforcement facility, I think is outside of your fiscal responsibility, your fiduciary responsibility for the county is, that would be very short-sighted to do that because we have a lot of other needs too. So we got to figure out a plan to do them all. And that's what we're working on.
But you could use a portion.
Yeah, you could absolutely do that.
I didn't know if within that mandate of that fund, it could be used for something new since rehabilitation's in the name.
But I think, again, once again, you make the decision to put the funds there. If you say, hey, we need to take $500,000 at some point and move it to Y project, I think you have that capability.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Bassett?
Thank you. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but I'm curious about something because you brought it up. Do you have an inventory in your IT department that shows what's the age of all these equipment, all this software? And do you have a capital budget plan that says every year we're going to replace 20 computers and we look at the oldest or the most neediest, whatever, and then budget for that? Do you have that?
One of the things that we did this past year, if you recall, when we did the capital improvement budget, is we built out some of those things and we tried to look at over a 5-year period. I will tell you, IT, yes, they do have an inventory. Every year when we do the insurance renewal, I get the inventory from Matt, I pass it on. Now, from a cost standpoint, are we looking at it saying we're setting aside $5,000 for this computer, $3,000 for that software? From a capitalization standpoint, I don't believe we're doing that. Is that something we will be discussing? Absolutely. Is that something we started discussing this year? Absolutely. But once again, you getting a big organization to pivot and change overnight it takes time, and there are different perspectives, and we have those discussions and conversations, and I believe we've done a good job of putting money back for these things. Now, is it necessarily the level that you can look at it and say, hey, I can see where all these dollars are associated, reserved, et cetera? I don't think so at this point. I hope to see that in the future, but I will say we do have some reserves, and this is why it's important for us to do that. My one concern, and I will tell you, the one thing we looked at doing this year was these reserve funds, because their commission ability do count as unassigned fund balance. They count on the unassigned fund balance, but to me, they're not truly unassigned. We have reserved them a little bit. Our unassigned fund balance is a little under 10% of next year's expenditures. I don't like that number. I want that higher. But because we have these funds, we held off on making any, because we looked at possibly putting money just to that fund balance. And why that's important is we have very seasonal revenues. We have very seasonal expenses. We have a cash flow issue at times that we just need to be prepared for. That's why you have fund balance. It's not only for the rainy day, but it's also from the time between before taxes are collected and certain revenues coming from the state. You have to make sure we can continue to pay the bills. Otherwise, we won't have employees for very long if we aren't able to make payroll. We're not anywhere near that issue, but once again, I just wanted to give you that background of, because I've heard people say, hey, well, you have too much in fund balance. We really don't. We do need to protect that, and we do need to continue to look at that going forward to make sure we're at adequate levels, and we'll have those conversations in '26.
Other questions? If not, again, the request is to approve Resolution 25-34 to authorize the auditor to transfer 2025 general fund surplus funds to various internal service funds.
So moved.
Motion?
Support.
We have a motion and support. Further discussion? Madam Clerk.
Tennyson?
Aye.
Jackson's absent. Bassett?
Aye.
Calder?
Aye.
Campbell?
Aye.
Getty?
Aye.
Smoker?
Aye.
And Hatchel.
Aye. Thank you all very much. We have no unfinished business. We have no new business. You're still there?
I came back.
Okay.
Nothing major. I know we're not planning anything formal because she doesn't want it, but I couldn't let the meeting go right now without saying thank you to Luella for the last year. She's helped me transition. She'll still be around for a couple months, so you'll still see her around, but I just wanted to thank her for everything, for her long years of service to the county, and really especially for me for the last 16 months. You can't replace someone like Luella, so just thank you very much. And I do look forward to 26 and a lot of work. But thankfully, we'll have her for a couple more months to tap into her knowledge. And just want to wish you all happy holidays. We will be around the next few weeks, so if you need anything, just yell, and we'll look forward to seeing you on January 2nd.
Luella, you knew you weren't going to get out of here without a few very kind words, so glad you're sticking around for a while so we can throw a few more of those at you. So, Commissioner Smelker.
Eric said that he's been with Luella for a year and learned everything. So everything Eric does wrong now, we blame to Luella?
Oh, no, that's not fair at all. It's not fair at all. You can try, John, if you want. All right, Chairperson's report. We'll move on to Vice Chair's report. JPA met last night. No significant JPA projects, but fair amount of discussion about Meyer, which continues to move forward. The recommended changes to some of the ordinances have passed first reading at both the city and the township. They'll have second readings and final approval at their next meeting, but there are no really apparent issues with any of those. We expect that Meyer will be submitting their site plan for approval at either the February or March meeting of the Joint Planning Commission. So, and they already did present all the parties with preliminary, which I think was generally very, very well received. Also, last City Council meeting, they have are in the process of developing a tax increment financing policy. They've also held a workshop with the City Council and the city's Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. I think that that will be a document that we'll definitely want to take a good look at, because it addresses a lot of the issues that we have discussed when we were asked to approve a couple of tax increment financing projects earlier this year. So I think there's a growing recognition of the fact that while there is a maximum amount that the law provides for, you don't have to go to that maximum, and it's imperative that the municipalities that are impacted take a look at what their true incremental cost is going to be associated with those developments, and that they reserve enough of the of future tax revenue to cover that, and that will still leave plenty to provide the desired incentives to reduce rents or reduce purchase prices. So I think it's been an interesting process, and I look forward to seeing the conclusion of that. Economic Development Alliance also met, and we had a prospective new board member there in Marcia, and we welcome her. I think a lot going on so many fronts, but I think you're all receiving Jennifer's monthly reports now. I hope you'll spend a little time looking at those, because it covers a lot of very hard work on their part that'll have significant positive impact on the county. The other thing I want to mention, we do have our organizational meeting. In talking with Chairman Jackson, he has asked me to kind of serve as the clearinghouse to gather input from each of you regarding any thoughts that you have on changing our board rules and also committee assignments. So, and I've already talked with a couple of you regarding interest in possibly changing some of your committee assignments. Please let me know within the next next 10 days what your desires are, and I'll try to work with Dave, and we'll come up with hopefully some acceptable recommendations. So our next meeting will be January 2nd. And in the meantime, I want to join Eric in wishing you all a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and hope it's a safe one and a joyous one, and look forward to seeing you all on the 2nd. With that, we'll move on to commissioner reports. Commissioner Bassett.
Yes, so I have Prairieville Township tomorrow night. Thank you for mentioning the Economic Development Board. I'm really excited about that because they have so much going on in Delton, which is near and dear to my heart. So looking forward to that in the new year. And I have considered it truly an honor this past year. I've been on this board now for a year, and it's been an honor to serve with all of you. Really learned a lot. I've really enjoyed my time here, and looking forward to next year and continuing on the path of doing what's good for Berry County. So Merry Christmas to all of you.
And we have certainly appreciated having you here as well. So thank you for all the input that you have provided us. Commissioner Colton.
We had a nice parade in Nashville, Christmas parade. Boy, was it cold. I had a 10-elf crew, and we were trying to jam them all. They wanted to get into my Jeep because it was so cold out. It was kind of like the circus, you know, where you see all the clowns pop out of a little car. That's what this was like, so.
Great. Commissioner Getty?
Waiting for global warming, I mean.
Yeah,
No, I wish everybody a happy holidays. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Commissioner Smelker?
Have Irving tonight, had 911 yesterday, and transit is Monday. That's it.
Okay. Commissioner Campbell?
Yeah, I have Thornapple and DHS tomorrow, and then Friday we get together at the Health Department again, I believe, right, Bob?
Yeah.
And also I'd like to wish everybody a happy holiday season, and thank you, Lord, for getting us through this one, and good luck on the next one.
Amen. Commissioner Sunnison?
I want to thank all my fellow board members for, there's a lot of hard work that goes in that nobody really ever sees, right? I mean, and to welcome Marcia on this board, I see her devotion to Delton and the area that she puts in down there. She truly loves where she lives, and great asset for this board. And I want to thank everybody on the board for everything they do behind the scenes and coming here every week. Do the best we can. So, thanks.
Okay. Limited public comment. Anyone wishing to comment, please step up to the podium.
Morning again. I hope Dave Jackson has a speedy recovery. May you all have a Merry Christmas. Remember, Christ is the reason for the season. So I do want to talk about, as a past village president and trustee at the Village of Nashville, unassigned funds, contingency fund is important. You didn't get none of those today. You know, you have projects out there. You did hear about how you have many buildings. You have vacancies in those buildings also, so consolidation needs to be part of it. When you talk about committees, I look at your committees and I look at how many committees you have and how you're kept busy by committees, which actually deters you from doing a better job as commissioners. So you might want to think about what type of committees that you can either reduce or get rid of or not be part of, because that becomes more of a pain to you folks, and it needs to be looked at. I looked at that stuff, I'm just sitting there, this is a little ridiculous. You need to be able to do the work of the county as a county commissioner, not all these boards and commissions that you sit on. So that's something that you really need to look at, because it's just, yeah, too many of them on there. How do you consolidate, or what should you do? Do you even need to be on them, or should they just be coming in and giving you reports quarterly or something, these boards and stuff? That would probably be better use of everybody's time. Part of the problem with fees and what's called services is the over-regulation in the state of Michigan. Some of it's county, a lot of it is state, and some may be federal. So when you start going into, well, we provide this service, a lot of times these services are not worth having. It was amazing to me when my daughter built a house this year of how many silly things that have to be inspected. The one door thing, that they come in there and you talk to the person, well, 10,000 square foot houses are going to automatically fail. Well, because they just don't have what's needed based on a regulation. So if you look at how you can unregulate some of these things, whether it's in the health department or other places under the control of Berry County, that will be incredibly important to not necessarily to reduce fees, but the work cycle for the people in the county. The vacant offices and buildings and stuff, you need to consolidate. I think I said that a minute ago. But that is really, really going to be important. You have too many buildings, and you should not be looking to enlarge government, but you really need to look at how you're going to consolidate the government. The FOC building, I personally think is a waste of time. But if you consolidate the health department into it or something like that, maybe it becomes a value. But if you just let it sit open with a lot of vacant space, 9,000 square feet over there, then you haven't done the job that's needed. So if that makes any sense to anybody. So, thank you.
What item I did forget to pass on, there was a question asked last meeting about, I know no one wants to hear about the Pung Isabella case. The conversation I had with the attorney was, I believe we're the only county in the state not providing support for the case. So just a FYI. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, I don't believe we have any other business, so we'll move on to commissioner comments. I'll start at this end this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome.
Well, I've been here for 3 years now, right? It's been probably one of the biggest honors of my life, actually, to be a part of this. But from day one, when I walked in here, I was hearing a lot of, from employees and stuff, that they felt vulnerable to, in their office space, right? That anybody who comes out of court might be irate or whatever, they get something put on them and they come in and take it out in the clerk's office or the treasurer's office, and I think John's going to be having a safety meeting on Friday, and maybe it's time that we take a look at, and I know Eric's thinking about this too, figure out a way to keep a little better separation between the employees and the public. So I think Sarah and Inez and John and who's ever going to be on that committee can come up with some good ideas to recommend to us to whether we have to pass it or not. But I mean, it's something I think that we seriously need to take a look at, making them feel that they come to a safe workplace. So, because they are pretty vulnerable in those officers, nowhere to go. Okay, if somebody were to come in there, and then the scenarios that I've never even thought about, what if they brought in a thermos full of gas and just in a water bottle, and threw it in there? I mean, you don't ever think about this because we think rationally, right? But a lot of people don't anymore. You're seeing it all more times where I never thought it could happen here, right? So I think it's something that we seriously need to take a look at for the safety of our employees. So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Campbell?
Yeah, I'd just like to say the thing that's most on my mind this morning is Commissioner Jackson, our chairman. We have a lot of, I guess, healthy fun poking at each other up here, but I'll tell you, I think Commissioner Jackson has been a great chairman, and I just hope the best for his family right now. What a terrible time of the year to have something so horrific happen, but it sounds like he's doing well, and continued prayers will make that come true. So just thinking about Commissioner Jackson today.
Thank you. Commissioner Smoker?
Just to follow up on a little bit of what Bob said, is we do have a security meeting Friday, and I'm sure we have a lot to talk about there. So, and and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Commissioner Getty?
I'm really happy to hear that, you know, that you're looking at the security issues. As somebody that has worked in a local municipal office, you really have to take those security risks seriously, and because we don't know, nobody thinks it's going to be them. So you have to be prepared, and that's really important. So thank you.
Commissioner Cullen?
It's been an honor working with you all year. A Merry Christmas to all your Christmas people. And I don't know if there's any other Hanukkah people out there or Kwanzaa people out there, but happy holidays to everyone.
And to you too, sir. Commissioner Bassett?
The only thing I had is that they had their celebration in Nashville. Well, Dalton also had their hometown Christmas on Saturday. I wasn't there, but I heard about, 6 degrees below zero and lighted, parade and all that good stuff. But people kept coming out and enjoying the festivities and drinking the cocoa. So it was a really positive event for our community. So that's all I got.
Okay. Thank you all. Well, and I have nothing else to add other than once again saying Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll echo Michael's other inclusions in that as well. Happy Hanukkah and Happy Kwanzaa. May everybody have a very enjoyable holiday. And as I said in opening the meeting with a moment of silence, we've all got a lot to be very grateful for, and many challenges ahead. So celebrate and come back on the 2nd, and a new year will be started. I think Commissioner Bassett would like for everybody to stick around for a second for a photo op. So if you will all do that. Otherwise, there being no further business, we are adjourned. Thank you all for your attendance.